Hey everybody, John Shell, Cruise Addicts here. Thank you all for taking the time to join us. We're so happy to be back live streaming with you. It seems like it's been a long time. I hope you're all doing well, and hopefully you're planning your future cruise. Um, there's so much going on, and there's so much hope on the horizon for cruising, and we're really excited to have you here. I see you all checking there. Please, we'll wait for more people to come in. And while we're welcoming everybody, please check in on the comments below. Sometimes you have to get permission, and if you're in the Viking group or some of the other groups, give us permission with StreamYard so we can actually see your faces and your profile. Otherwise, it'll just it won't show me who you are. It'll just say like user. So we love to actually see your name and everything. Your name will pop up on the screen here. Once again, thank you all for joining us. This is exciting to be back live streaming. Like I said, just to introduce myself to you all, my name is John Shell, Cruise Addicts. We were founded in 1999, and I've started several different Facebook groups and Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and all of you have been invited to this live stream tonight. And one of the special things about having this page and this website is we get to have special guests. And I want to introduce my guest tonight. Tonight we have a top travel agent who is Viking's global top producer. He has over 18 years experience, and he works every day on giving his clients first-class service. Please welcome our guest, Michael Consoli. We're going to get him in here. Hey, Michael, how are you doing tonight?
Good, John. How are you?
Good. Like I said, so good to have you here. It's so great to have everybody joining in. We're getting our numbers up. I'm looking forward. Like I said, me and Michael are looking forward to seeing your comments. Michael, as you know, our title tonight is "What's New with Viking" and what's the future hold for cruising in 2021. There's so much. Like I said, we were talking a little bit earlier off the live stream, just how bright the future is for cruising. I mean, this week alone, there's been so much news. I know the UK has started vaccinating people, and I know the FDA. It may have already been approved today or tomorrow, but probably this week they're going to do an emergency plan or approval for vaccines to start in the United States. And to me, that means that cruising will be starting soon. I think once you're a card-carrying vaccinated person, and with all the new therapies, we were kind of touching on this. I think that cruising was going to return, and I think maybe not tomorrow, but I think in the near future, in 2021. Maybe a couple months in, or June or July, we're kind of thinking, me and Michael were kind of brainstorming, trying to think. I think that cruising is actually going to be really viable and we won't just be talking about possibilities, but I think the industry is going to fully return. Michael, what do you think about all that?
I have to agree. I think that, this is going to be a game changer. And again, not immediately, but we're going to see in the next few months, the strength of bookings for 21 is already very good. So I just think we're going to see, the cruise lines when they start sailing, just people just going to be have this pent up demand and want to go and go out on a cruise. I know some of the people on the board right now feel the same way we do. So and look, it's something everybody has to be comfortable with, right? So everybody has their different comfort level, and the vaccine is a game changer for the whole world, not just the travel industry, but we are really, really excited about the vaccine. And I think if the stock market is any indication for cruise line stocks, the cruise line stocks have really just gotten higher and higher based on the promising news of a vaccine. So, yeah, I think we're going to see some travel, some robust travel here very soon.
Yeah, that does seem the cruise line stocks do seem to be a barometer for how the world and at least investors feel about how the future prospects are for cruising. Like I said, folks, let us know what you think. Me and Michael are having a conversation, but we want to hear from you. Please comment below, make a comment. Let us know what you think about the future cruising, the vaccines, and your personal feelings. We want to hear your thought. This is a great feedback thing. And speaking of cruises in the future, Michael, we've actually had a poll on the Viking Cruises group that me and you are such a big part of, about a future cruise, maybe down the road. I know the Viking, the river cruises was really winning everybody wanted to see
Yeah,
me
it
go on
was
a
the
river
most
cruise.
popular choice, I think, so far. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't see that coming really, but I love river cruising, so I'm all for that. But I for some reason I was like, oh, everybody's gonna want to go on an ocean cruise, but
yeah.
it was exciting to see all the different responses, and it was great to see people actually adding their own. Uh, they didn't see exactly the choice they wanted, so they were like, I'm gonna put my own little option there, and people voted for that too, which was really exciting. So I just love to see the interaction. That's one thing so exciting about the Cruise Addicts forums on our website, and also the groups, the Facebook groups. It's great to see that live interaction and input from everybody. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see so much enthusiasm for a cruise group from the Facebook page. So that would be something I think that is very exciting that we'll see soon, I hope.
And we've got our first comment, Teresa. I don't want it's Freitas. Oh my God, I want to go both so bad. It's been a year. I know, Teresa. I tell you what, I feel it every day. I mean, people are so passionate about cruising. Obviously, I started a website called Cruise Addicts, and we're all here. Cruising is such a big part of all our lives, and it's a great getaway, and it's a great way to just decompress from the real world that we deal with it. So yeah, I'm right with you, Teresa. Thank you so much for making a comment and being here. And we just got another comment. John just roasted. He posted. He said, "We are booked for France's finest." Well, I like the sounds of that in 2021.
Yeah.
I sure. You know what? We were just talking. Me and Michael were just talking about that. I'm hoping that by June that the vaccine is distributed, and that if everything works out right, that maybe that'll work out.
Yeah, we think it's very promising for June. So I think that's probably a great time, John. And the France's Finest itinerary is probably one of the more popular ones. It's kind of like a sleeper itinerary. The France's Finest actually, it's two 7-day itineraries melded together. It's Lyon and Provence, which is the south of France, and then Viking connects it with very popular Paris in the heart of Normandy. Two different ships, so the guest has two. They move from one ship to the other, but it is one of the more popular 14-day itineraries for sure. So that's a great choice, John. I know you're going to enjoy that itinerary.
Yeah, Teresa and John, thank you so much for checking in with us and letting us know your thoughts. This is what makes this live stream so wonderful. And we have another comment, Michael. They didn't let us know who they are. So that's what I'm saying. You got to give us a little approval. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. We just can't see your smiling face there. But I know we are so ready for a get on a cruise. I mean, like I said, it's such a big part of. I was supposed to go in July. I have a big birthday coming up. I can't go on a cruise. It just messes my. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about camping.
Yeah, so, I know. We've all done vacations that we would have never thought of 2 years ago. So, and who would have thought that we would be, we'd have a suspension of cruises for an entire year. So
I know. My wife's like, John, it's almost been a year. I'm like, I know, it's crazy. It's gone by so quickly. It's like the nightmare that won't end,
Yeah. So the other interesting thing that happened today, John, is that Viking released their 2023 World Cruise. So departing at the end of 2022. So they released their 2021/2022 World Cruise a few months ago, and it sold out. It's almost completely sold out, I think. So now the one that departs December of 22, January of 23, because there's two departures, one from Miami before the end of the year, and then, or you can get on in LA after the first of the year in 2023. And they just released that today. So very exciting.
Well, I'm going to put your contact information, but if you can let everybody know how to contact you if they want to know more about that.
Yeah, so the World Cruise, or any of the Viking cruises, guests can contact me at michael@planmycruise.com or by dialing 800-913-7245. But it is worth mentioning that the World Cruise offering includes complimentary business class air, complimentary gratuities, the Silver Spirits package, as always, an excursion in every port, and an early payment savings of $5,000. It's really amazing. It's an amazing deal. So, and of course, it's 2 years away. So hopefully, if people are interested, we know, I mean, if the pandemic's still going on, then we're going to be in big trouble. But yeah, so it's a great offering for those people that are looking to do, a longer cruise. I know some of my clients have some pretty big vouchers they could use towards the world cruise. So
That's great. No, it's like I said, this is probably the best week in a long time, like I was saying. And it's now is the time to actually, I don't want to sound like an infomercial, but I really think that the future is bright to book those future cruises, because we've got the vaccine coming out. It's out in the UK. It's going to probably come out this week or next, at least be approved to start rolling out in the United States. And things are getting real. It's actually not just we hope. I think it's actually happening. So all these conversations that we're going to have today and having right now, I think is justified, that we can actually start really planning your future cruises. So it's very exciting. And so I wanted to touch on some news. And I know this is kind of breaking, but it's Viking wants Panama City to be a port of call. And that actually just came out. I guess the city of Panama City signed a letter of intent with Viking Cruises, where they want the port of Panama City to be a port of call, which is really surprising. I live in Florida, so that's exciting. It's a beautiful area. I've been there, and so it's just great to see something new and on the horizon. And Viking's always surprising us. So if you're from Panama City, please check in with us. I know we have so many viewers. Even if you watch this later on the playback, please comment. So yeah, how exciting that see Viking just constantly innovating, bringing us to new.
This is typical Viking, looking outside the box for a solution. I mean, when the pandemic first came up, there was talk that they might be doing departures right from the UK, just round trip from the UK. But right now, I mean, we see them just trying to innovate and figure out the best way to approach this and continue to have the best experience for their guests. So we saw that this week with the release of their safety protocols. I think, as Tor said in the video that they released, they have probably the most comprehensive approach to the safety of their guests during this, the changes that they have to make for the pandemic. And some of the innovations are just really outstanding. The first PCR lab at sea being installed on all of their ocean ships, that's just an amazing feat.
Yeah, so getting into that, I wanted to touch on that. What are the Vikings' new protocols for the river and ocean?
Yeah, so they're going to be doing, daily testing of guests that are going to, it's a PCR test. So it's not that nasal swab that everybody finds so uncomfortable. The lab is going to process them right on board the ocean ships. The river ships will use a network of labs along the river that have been arranged with Viking. So they don't actually have a lab on board, but they will be processed same day. So, they're going to protect, using all the same protocols that we've seen in restaurants and things in our country. But more than that, they're using UV light, robots throughout the night that will go through the ship and sanitize it, UV lights in the filtering in the air filtration system to kill bacteria. It's really an amazing innovation for them, and really has taken it a step beyond what we've seen with other companies.
And what is a PCR test? You said it's not the nasal swabs. How do they collect it?
It's a saliva test that will be collected in by the guest and turned in every morning, and then tested in the lab, and then the results will be provided. And then if they do have a case on board, they actually have they will actually have an area of the ship that is quarantined. They have always had this space in the medical facility, so they will be able to address that, obviously. Yeah. So, and a lot of people ask, are masks going to be required? And in the beginning, the masks will be required, but it will depend on how well we progress with the therapeutics and the vaccines, and whether or not, in June or July, whether or not those will actually be required is kind of up in the air. It's going to depend really on how well this whole thing progresses with the vaccine and that type of thing. So. But,
Yeah.
immediately off the bat, they have a very comprehensive plan to address the concerns that guests would have. And it's pretty impressive.
So yeah, even if we down the road, because it'll always be a concern probably for the foreseeable future as this all rolls out. If anybody maybe starts showing symptoms or whatnot, they could always get tested and they could deal with it effectively there. And of course, I'm sure the therapeutics will be more advanced as well. They're saying even when you get the first dose, it solves a lot of the problems. Just getting that first dose of the vaccine, someone had said. So there's so much happening. I'm sure not a doctor, but so much going on here. And let's see. So I wanted to touch on vouchers. I know that, or actually, what sailings were canceled? I guess that recently happened, Michael.
Yeah, so Viking extended their pause in service to include sailings now through March 31st, both ocean and river, and then select sailings on specific ships that are affected for different reasons. But there's just a handful of sailings beyond that have been included. But the majority of sailings were January, February, March. And so guests who were affected by that were, again, offered a 100% refund if they paid, with cash or a credit card or by e-check. They were offered a 100% refund or 125% future cruise voucher. If they paid their cruise with vouchers, whether it was a 125% voucher or a 100% voucher, those vouchers were reinstated or will be reinstated for use for 2 years from the date of the pause, which was yesterday. So those people who paid with vouchers would get their vouchers back to be used again in the future. So that a lot of people affected, but not really as many as we've seen in previous cancellations, simply because river really doesn't operate in January and February most of the time, not until the second or third week of March. So not a lot of river affected, but clearly the ocean ships were affected. So
that goes into my next question. How can I use my voucher if I have one?
So yeah, the vouchers basically now can be used for any purchase through Viking. Originally the vouchers could not be used for the purchase of insurance. That has since changed. Insurance can be purchased with the voucher depending on when the voucher was issued. So that's really, it really varies by guest whether or not they can use their voucher for insurance. But those people that were recently affected should be able to use their voucher to purchase anything through Viking: the cruise, post packages, any excursions, the beverage package, gratuities, and now even insurance, as I understand it.
It's really generous then. So
yeah, it is very generous, because some of the lines that we work with, while they're offering 125% future cruise credit, the additional 25% cannot be used on pre or post. They can't be used for excursions. It has to only be used on the cruise fare. So the fact that Viking is allowing it to be used on any purchase through them, including pre or post, is really very generous.
And the next question about the vouchers is, are they refundable?
So depending on the voucher that you were issued, it would be refundable. So those vouchers that were issued under the risk-free cancellation, in other words, if the guest canceled before the cruise line canceled, those risk-free vouchers are not refundable. But any of the vouchers that were issued at 125% from the most recent cancellation would be refundable if they opted to take a refund.
And the next question, you kind of touched on this, but can insurance be purchased with the vouchers?
Yeah, so the insurance, again, can be purchased with your voucher, as long as your original purchase date, the voucher, was purchased in a certain time. So that's a question that you really have to, it's subjective to the guest. But yes, there are many instances now where the insurance can be purchased with the voucher.
And that might be something for the future. I mean, kind of touching on what we talked about earlier, that down the road, if we go on a June cruise or what have you, I would probably want some insurance in case something happened or someone in my party got sick and we had to all leave, or there was a COVID issue that came up or whatever.
So very interesting. It's a very interesting question, and one that I answer practically every day, because with this, with the generous cancellation policy that Vikings offered under this risk-free, which allows the guest to cancel up to 24 hours prior to departure and receive any penalties as a future cruise credit, the risk-free really does provide some sort of coverage for cancellation really for any reason, because you're getting a voucher for canceling regardless of what your reason is. However, the risk-free does not cover the things that you mentioned, right? So having travel insurance is really still very important. If you have a cruise paid with a voucher and you have travel insurance and cancel for a covered reason, you actually can get your money back for the voucher. You actually can get the dollar value of the voucher as a cash refund for canceling with a covered reason. So if you or the person you're traveling with gets sick, or you have an immediate family member who gets sick and you need to stay home because that person is sick, travel insurance will give you a cash refund for your cruise, even if you paid for it with a voucher. So that's really important. But more than that, it provides coverage while you're traveling, lost luggage, flight interruption, things like that. But medical while you're traveling, if you were to contract COVID while you're traveling, the insurance would cover any costs related to that, or costs related to getting you home, that type of thing. I have a client who unfortunately broke her foot on the second day of a trip in France, and they had to all fly home because the medical staff at the hospital in France told them, look, you need to have surgery and you need to fly home to the US for that. The insurance paid for them to fly home, and it also reimbursed them for the entire trip because they missed it. So, it's really important that the risk-free doesn't cover those types of things, the things that are unanticipated that travel insurance would normally cover.
Here's my question to you, because I've heard stories like that. I've actually experienced it on groups. We were on a group cruise with cruise addicts a while back, and one of the group members went on an excursion and they did a zip line. I'll never forget it. They were young and healthy, and they went on a zip line, and for some reason it malfunctioned in the Caribbean, and they hit the tree, and just major damage. And it wasn't a simple thing. They wrapped it up, put them back on the ship, and then they were in pain, and they really needed to go home. But it makes you think of these crazy things, and unfortunately, those are accidents that happen, and you just never know. You're in a storm environment. What's the best?
It gives you another avenue to pursue if you need assistance. Like obviously, with a travel agent, you'll have them to assist you. But then the insurance, certain policies come with concierge level services, which would also help in a situation that you needed assistance. Like for instance, the guest I was just talking about, the insurance provided a nurse interpreter for them so that they had somebody that could speak the language, right? Because they didn't speak French. So, and that was all provided by the insurance. So
incredible. So it's really, really important that when you're booking a cruise, especially if you most likely you're going to be in a strange land, that you actually have the quality coverage that suits your needs, because it'd be awful to be stranded somewhere in a hospital. You don't speak the language, and you're worried about your trip that you lost. So you need to make sure all that coverage is there. But a lot of the policies don't. They might cover a portion of something, maybe the fare, but not the getting home, and definitely not an interpreter.
Right, definitely not. It really depends on the type of policy that you take, and so that's something that an agent like myself can help people navigate and find out what the best. Everybody's situation is different, so and every itinerary is different. So the people that are traveling in Alaska on a cruise are not going to have the same medical insurance needs that somebody who's traveling, in South America or in China or, any place like that. So
yeah, it really is dizzying as a consumer. It's a major purchase just for the insurance, the proper insurance. And so I would definitely welcome an agent like yourself to say, okay, well, you need this, or this would be, this would support your needs. Not that you're an insurance salesman, but this would cover those bases, because I know nowadays, like people say, well, buy this brand and not buy that brand. Well, then you open up, you look a little deeper, and there's different tiers usually of that coverage. So there's the basic plan, the middle plan, and the advanced plan. You might hear some background noise here.
yeah.
I might turn this off. But yeah, so we're going to go to some comments here. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad here behind me.
Yeah, so one other thing I just mentioned about insurance before we move on is that a lot of guests don't realize that there are certain countries that require that you have travel insurance before you can travel there. While they may not require that you have a visa, or there are some countries that require that the guests carry travel insurance, medical insurance to cover them. And, there are hefty fines if they don't have it. So that's something that's really important to know.
All right, I'm going to go back here. Hopefully it's not too loud. But we've got a question here, and I'll mute myself here. If you can read that.
Yeah, can you give insight on Viking's offerings for solo travelers on their ocean cruises? Thanks for the question, Dave. It's a great question, and I get it a lot. So, single guests typically have to pay 100% single supplement on any cruise. And Viking does have some promotions on some of their sailings that do offer a reduced single supplement. They are not typically, advertised on their website or something like that. But if you are inclined, you're welcome to contact me, and I can give you an idea of some of the ocean sailings and river sailings that offer a reduced single supplement. But not all of them. It's just a select number of them.
Dave, thank you so much for that question. We really appreciate it. And we had Barb Benham in there. Barb, it's so good to see you here. And we also have Andreas greeting us from Kotor. I hope I'm saying that properly.
Yeah, from Dubrovnik. No, Montenegro.
But it's so good to see you all checking in. This is an amazing response we've had today, Michael. We've covered so many topics. If you have any last minute questions, we're wrapping this live stream up. If you have any questions for me or Michael, or just want to say something, please write the comment below. Also, this live stream everything's going to be saved, and you can rewatch it if you want to review what we've covered tonight. And also, you can watch it yourself for the first time. Like I said.
And John, I just want to mention about the vouchers. People who were recently canceled, if they have a voucher, or they don't have a voucher, it doesn't really matter. But if they're interested in contacting me, I certainly would be happy to assist them in trying to find the perfect, replacement cruise. And part of what I do is help the guest figure out how best to utilize the voucher. Many people have this extra 25%, which on a Viking cruise can be thousands of dollars. And help them utilize it best between promotions, onboard credit, shore excursions, how to help them utilize it to upgrade their air or add a pre or post package, that type of thing. So, I think that it's a really generous offering that Viking has made, and there's an opportunity to leave money on the table if the right choices aren't made in rebooking. So I certainly would welcome the opportunity to help anybody that has those vouchers or that's looking to book a new cruise maximize the value of their trip.
And we've got more questions. Please, like I said, we'll stay here as long as we get questions, and we'll keep answering them. So if you haven't written your question, if you have one, we've got literally world-class travel agent and Viking top global producer here, and Michael. Now's your chance to ask any questions. You can also, like I said, if you get to this later on, ask the questions in the comments below this video. But we've got one more here, Michael. Are key attractions starting to open back up in Europe? It's a great question.
Yeah, so starting to open up would be probably the best way to describe it. I think for locals, there are a lot of attractions that are opened up, but unfortunately, we still are not seeing U.S. travel open up there. So, but we do hope to see that in the next few months. I think we will see it by January or February that U.S. citizens will be able to travel to Europe. I was privy to a conversation the other day with one of our vendors in Canada who told us that Canada will open up March 1st. So hopefully this, I'm sure, is all driven by the vaccine and how well the vaccine performs over the next few months. And hopefully that that information will be positive and we'll see, more things open up over the next few months. Great question.
Yeah. So we'll pause for just a moment here. Any last questions? Like I said, we really appreciate all of you staying with us and watching tonight, and hopefully watch our recording of this. It's a real honor and a privilege to be here and to have Michael join us and share all of his knowledge about Viking. And like I said, if you have a voucher, if you have any questions about booking, Michael, how can they contact you? And can you tell us a little bit about your services and your business? We'd love to learn more about you. I know we kind of jumped right into things tonight, but please, if you don't know Michael, I want to introduce you to him. Of course, I already have. But Michael, tell us about yourself a little bit and what you can offer your clients and what you do every day.
Yeah, so the most important thing to know is that I never charge a fee for my services ever. So it's something that I do that I really, really love travel. I've been doing this for 18 years. And anybody that's worked with me, and there are many from the board that have, that they know that I make myself available to you all the time. You can reach me anytime. And if I'm not available, I make myself available to you within a few minutes to an hour. So very responsive. And we are going to help you always find the best value. In any cruise that you do, especially Viking. We are, as John has mentioned, I've been named the global top producer for Viking for 5 years in a row, which means that I sell more Viking than any other single agent for them. So, and I pride myself on the knowledge and value that I bring my clients, again, with never a fee. We're always going to help you find the best deal.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Michael. And Michael, thank you for being here and taking the time to join us and share all of your knowledge, like I was saying. And hopefully I'll be cruising soon. And thank you all of you for joining us tonight. This has been a really successful live stream. And I'm looking forward to a bright future of booking cruises, and hopefully we'll be all on the seas very soon. Any closing comments, Michael?
No, John, I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I really love coming on and answering people's questions. And I know that I get a lot of people that comment on, that they find these things to be very helpful and informative. So hopefully we can do another one soon. But yeah, it's always great. I love coming on here and sharing my knowledge and helping others. So thank you for that.
Right. Thank you. And thank you all again for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. We appreciate your time. Bye-bye. Bye, Michael.
Bye, John. Thank you.